what do you see emerging maybe on a horizon one, let's say the next 1-2 years, a horizon 2, 3 to 5 years, horizon 3, let's say maybe next 10 years?
Well, on level one, I think it's regulation. Regulation comes into the space and it starts to shape it. And it starts to say, hey, in the face of innovation, you still have to understand and follow certain core rules that the global society has and have already established. And so there's a maturation that takes place in the technology, but also an understanding that many of the projects that originally came out are just fundamentally illegal and they're not allowed to continue. So there's a sort of a triage that takes place naturally within the projects of those that can survive and those that don't. And that gives it a fundamental shape. The 3 to 5 years is an embracing fundamentally of this technology by everybody. It becomes institutional, becomes truly institutional for the good and the bad associated with that. I just think the capitalist profit motive makes it very simple to think that every single possible way that profit can be made, it will. And then through that, there's a natural evolution of shape and form. So all the thinkers who are thinking, how can we benefit from this, do. And then I think in like the 5 to 10 year range, and even longer, is where these very early original thinkings around truly global civilization becomes possible. Because there's such a shift in the need of thought collectively. There's such a shift in the need of identity collectively. And I think there also has to be an understanding that this transformation is evolutionary. It's not revolutionary. So the only things we've been taught about this in the past is revolution, which leads to other kinds of war. It leads to other kinds of fear and dominance in that sense. That is not what this is about. This is about a kind of a global civilization that actually leaves city-state governments in place. It doesn't change that fundamentally. It doesn't take away the old financial systems and only leave the new ones. It's a hybridization of technology that takes place over time that's fundamentally not threatening to capitalism. Capitalism and democracy allows for a natural evolution as long as it stays within the rules of the governing parties. I don't see that any different in this case. There's a natural evolution associated to the rules, and then there's also a natural evolution of the technology and the way that it's implemented. So I think this takes shape and form. You know, at first it's just a flurry, and it kind of has booms and busts as it goes, but the need of it will never go away. The desire for peer-to-peer interaction will never go away. The technology cannot be controlled, the use of it in terms of peer-to-peer interactions anyway. So that aspect of it is here to stay. The beauty of the idea of this globalized civilization is that it actually grows through the current structures. It doesn't replace them. So it does fundamentally change them, but through a natural evolution and mutation of those structures. And I think that those will be the technologies that really stick. Anything that's revolutionary will ultimately go. Lots of the technologies that are big today, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think like those may become sort of dinosaurs of the market, and the next generation thought will actually be the ones that are the largest projects in history associated with it. Sort of the first, the next wave become the next version of the largest ones. You know, I welcome literally all of it.
I think what we're seeing is more like you mentioned this like transmutation. I see it more like a mycelium of like tech, biological, and conscious infrastructure all entangled that transmutes the system that we want to outlive. These were a lot of words. Do you have some final words?
Actually, I agree with all of that. I think that what you described as the convergence of biotech and chemistry and the plant world, the plant kingdoms, and technology all ultimately creates this convergence of new consciousness for the planet. I actually think that is the next step, where we're not just the dominant form of consciousness, but we actually help create through the earth itself new consciousness. And I agree completely that, you know, getting educated on all of the subjects that we discussed today is unbelievably important, because they are the next evolutionary pieces of what's coming, both for technology, for global humanity, and for our consciousness, because the psychedelic renaissance is here, and people are dabbling and practicing and using these substances in ways at a level never before used. And so I think all of this will be an incredible exploration. Being part of it is a tremendous honor. And I think all of us need to get educated on it so that we have a better understanding and foundation as we navigate the next 15, 20 years with it.